My name is Natali Daley Grünenfelder. I was diagnosed with PCOS and I'm 1 in 10. Prior to having PCOS, I've actually never heard of it before. It wasn't until I was about 18 or 19 that I got the diagnosis that I began researching what PCOS was. My initial reaction to being diagnosed with PCOS, I wasn't that taken aback because still I didn't fully understand what it was. It wasn't until I got a bit older and wanted to start a family that I began to get a bit depressed or develop some anxiety about having PCOS. I was about 18 or 19 when I was diagnosed with PCOS, and at that time I was just having missed periods. I'd go months without having a period, and I would have hormonal acne. I'd have severe mood swings. I'd go from being extremely happy one minute to upset and sad the next, and I'd also get bloated, sometimes bloated to the point that it would even seem as if I'm in my first trimester of pregnancy. The symptoms have impacted my daily life in the sense that sometimes when I get very bloated, I feel a bit insecure in regards to what clothes I can wear because it gets a bit uncomfortable when people approach me. Oh, are you expecting, or how far along are you? It's rare, or some people just say I gain weight because I also had the issue of just gaining weight rapidly, and I couldn't figure out why. But the cramps that I would get, sometimes I'd have pain in my lower abdomen, which made things a bit uncomfortable. And the acne at times, it also affected the insecurities that I'd get based on how PCOS would affect my physical appearance. The most frustrating PCOS symptom that I've experienced, I would say, is the cramps and the growth of the cysts. And well, maybe the most frustrating one is how it affects my fertility. Because due to the PCOS, you don't ovulate every month like a regular healthy woman would. So it is a bit difficult for me to have children. That's the most frustrating thing about having PCOS. PCOS has impacted my mental health in the sense where I used to get very sad about the idea of needing fertility treatment to start a family. But now I've kind of come to the terms with it and I've accepted life for what it is. But yeah, I would just get sad every now and then. But now I've learned to just adapt to having the PCOS and change my diet and lifestyle as much as possible. I do have a few friends and family members that have PCOS, actually more friends than I knew. It's not until I started discussing my diagnosis with my friends and family that I heard a few other people saying, oh, I have PCOS as well. My mom didn't even know that she had issues with cysts until she heard about my situation, and then she went to the doctor, got a checkup, and found out that she has the cysts on her ovaries as well, and my aunt also has PCOS. In regards to treatment for PCOS, I was initially put on birth control. I was on birth control from the age of 18 until I was about 25. That did help. The cyst wouldn't come back when I was on the birth control, and it did help to control my weight a bit. But then when I came off my birth control pills to start a family, that's when the cysts got out of control. I had a cyst grow to as big as 8 centimeters. So I realized that it was the birth control that was helping me to control the growth of cysts. And I was recently also put on metformin. Metformin was supposed to help to control my insulin resistance and help with the weight gain. And it was supposed to help to somewhat regulate my flow as well, but the cysts would still come back even with me being on metformin. Well, in regards to managing my PCOS, at first I had a doctor that told me, let's try the natural way. Let's try working out and changing your diet. So I would be living in the gym. I'd be in the gym from Monday to Sunday. But I still couldn't control the weight gain. I didn't realize that PCOS affected the weight gain so significantly. And I tried to change my diet in the sense where I would have specific times of the day that I would eat, and that wasn't necessarily working for me. It wasn't until I had a ruptured cyst earlier this year that I decided, and I was hospitalized because of that. So it wasn't until that happened that I decided to really change my diet. So I've cut out meat out of my diet significantly. I'd only eat meat, say, once or twice a week, but I have mostly a plant-based and fruit-based diet because based on my research, it's better to have a fiber-rich diet when you have PCOS. Well, in regards to finding out information about PCOS, I would mostly do my research online. I also have an aunt who is a nurse overseas, so sometimes I'll ask her for tips on how to change my diet and if there are ways to naturally shrink the cysts. My doctors also gave me a bit of information, but honestly just sitting and searching through Google day after day, trying to find out as much as I can, that's what has helped me significantly. The most surprising fact about PCOS for me is that I recently learned that it makes it harder for you to be able to have children, and if you do get pregnant, you're a high-risk pregnancy automatically because you're more at risk of having a miscarriage. So I found that out in my research, and I was pretty shocked about that, but for me this year actually ended up getting pregnant, and I was nervous the whole time because of the research that I did that it puts you at a higher risk of having a miscarriage. But I have a great support system around me that tried to comfort me as much as possible, saying don't think negative, just try and enjoy the moment as much as possible. But I did end up having a miscarriage within my first trimester. So I just learned that it's very common. It happens to women with or without PCOS, but you're at a higher risk of having miscarriages when you do have PCOS. Currently, I'm managing my PCOS with my diet, and I also do yoga. So I have cut down meat significantly. I am on a mostly plant-based diet, and I try to cut down the oils that I use. I only cook with olive oil. I try to stay away from junk food as much as possible. I'm not saying that I don't eat it at all, but it's a very rare occasion for me to be eating junk. So I'm just trying to be as healthy as possible. I've increased my fiber intake, and it has helped with the weight gain. It has helped with the bloating, and also I noticed that my skin has improved a lot. And I also fast. I fast every morning. I don't eat until around 12 or 1 o'clock because it helps with my digestion and even how I absorb insulin. So, when you have an insulin resistance, sometimes you'll crave junk. You just want a quick fix, or you'll crave ice cream and cakes. I would crave all the unhealthy things. So based on my research, I've learned that when you crave those things, it's also best to just have fruit on hand because it does help with the cravings. So just cleaning up my diet, doing yoga, trying to be as healthy as possible, and praying to emotionally accept everything. That's how I've been able to manage the PCOS.